Now in this video, I'll answer all your questions that you asked me in my first impressions video, and I'll share with you everything that you guys need to know about the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus, so keep watching. Hey, what's up guys, Adam Lobo here and you're watching Adam Lobo TV. If you guys are new, hello and welcome. Do consider subscribing to this channel as I release videos at least twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week. And if you're returning as a subscriber, welcome back my friends. Let's hang out. Now let's first unbox the phone. Now the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus comes in a black box with the visuals of the S Pen in front and Note 10 Plus below. Then at the back, you'll find some of the specs over there. Opening the front cover, you will find a little black box in the cover itself, which has the SIM ejector pin on the outside. Now since this is a review unit, there is no clear phone case which comes inside of the box, where the retail unit will come with a clear phone case. Then you'll find the phone itself. Underneath that, you'll find 2 small boxes above, where one has a micro USB to USB-C dongle and a USB-C to USB-C cable. And the other box has the AKG USB-C wired earphones with the extra ear tips inside. Then looking below, you'll find the 25-watt fast charging brick. And right in the middle, there's a box which contains a USB-A to USB-C dongle. Then lastly, the S Pen tip and tool. Now going over to the phone specs, the Note 10 Plus comes with the Exynos 9825 chipset with the Mali G76 MP12 GPU. It is coupled with a massive 12 gigs of RAM with either 256 gigs or 512 gigs of storage. It comes shipped with Android 9 Pie with the all-new amazing One UI skin. Now as for the color options here in Malaysia, there are 3 colors for you guys to choose from, where the one which I have is the newly introduced unique Aura Glow, which emits a different spectrum of colors when light reflects on the back of the phone. And then there's Aura Black and also #WhiteLove, Aura White. Now as for the phone's design and build, the phone is quite huge, which I've always been a fan of the huge size of the Galaxy Note phones. But to my surprise, the phone did not feel as heavy as it looks. So to me, it did have a nice ratio of weight and size to the phone. Now there was an online debate whether or not the frame is made of stainless steel or aluminium, but this is made of aluminium, which I believe is a better choice because stainless steel gets scratched pretty easily and it will bring the weight slightly up as well. Then for the phone's rear is made of glass with the usual high quality Corning Gorilla Glass protection, and moving away from the usual position of the previous Galaxy Note devices, the rear camera is now placed on a vertical position towards the left side of the phone with a tiny little camera bump similar to the S10 lineup, which was great. Now compared to other phones which had a huge camera bump, it made the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus easy for you to type it on a surface like this. It's not wobbly. By now, we can all assume that all flagship phones comes with the in-display fingerprint sensor, and what is unique about the Samsung's flagship is the ultrasonic in-display fingerprint sensor, which is not only faster than the optical fingerprint sensor, but you can unlock it even if your fingers are wet or even sweaty after working out, and the sensors are placed slightly above of the screen for you to reach it easily. So yes, as expected from Note devices, the Note 10 Plus is a very solid built phone with a really carefully thought design. Now as for the phone spots and buttons, right down below there is the USB-C port with one of the 2 stereo speakers down below. And then of course there's the S Pen slot. And to maintain its clean minimal look, there is no button on the right hand side. And then on the left there is the volume rocker, and by default the power button is now known as the side key, which from the box it is a screen off button, and pressing and holding it goes to Bixby, but you can remap it to the power off menu to turn it back to a power button, where like before you can also remap the double press functions over there as well. Then on top there's a SIM card and the micro SD card slot which supports up to 1 terabyte, which is still the highest compared to any other flagship phones. And so you guys know, that tiny little hole on top is the additional speaker and even the microphone for a more immersive sound experience for the phone. So no Patade 44 and Harish Jayakumar, there is no IR blaster on the phone. Now as for the phone screen, the Note 10 Plus has a bigger 6.8-inch dynamic AMOLED screen with the edge-to-edge display with almost no bezels at the sides, and yes, it is still the most beautiful display on any smartphone out right now. Then there's a new Infinity O display right at the middle of the phone compared to the right for the camera as it was for the S10 series, as Samsung felt that since there's no notification right at the middle of the screen and they did not want to create a typical notch, they went with that. And I gotta agree that it was a good move placing it over there as long there's no notch instead. Then as for the screen resolution, the Note 10 Plus comes with a 3040 by 1440 pixels, and yes, viewing videos on YouTube was absolutely amazing. And again, the camera hole in the middle was not distracting at all, and the color reproduction was great, where I can just sit back and watch videos after videos. And even when I was watching Netflix, I did find a huge improvements on the visual and the sound experience. Now as for the phone's camera, there is a 12 megapixel variable aperture of f1.5 to f2.4, 27mm wide lens, a 12 megapixel f2.1 aperture 52mm telephoto lens, and also a 16 megapixel f2.2 with a great focal length of a 12mm ultra wide angle lens. And unique to the Note 10 Plus, the phone also has a TOF time of flight 3D VGA camera to get some great depth shots. Now pictures on the phone was amazing as expected. Now since the S10 series, Samsung has gone away from making the pictures more saturated and concentrated on having more dynamic range in their image processing, so you can be very flexible when you edit the photos. Now thanks to the new depth VGA camera, the portrait mode on the phone was the best compared to previous Samsung phones, with a good edge detection on the blurred background compared to every other phone they have tested without over sharpening the objects. And with the TOF camera lens, you don't even need to go to the live focus mode to get a shallow depth of field for close-up shots. Now out of all the wide angle lenses they have tested, hands down for me, this is my current favorite wide angle shot lens, where it had a bit of oomph to the wide angle shots, where it looked epic without major distortion at the sides, where the images was quite sharp on the edges as well. Then the night mode on the phone surely had some improvements, where usually when I use night mode I would be a bit concerned with the noise of the image, especially during low light scenes, but I can honestly say that the night mode shots turned out great, and the best part is that you can use all the lenses in that mode as well, which makes you have that sort of confidence when taking a shot during at night as well. Then as for the front camera, it has a 10 megapixel f2.2 aperture. Now while there's so many smartphones which has a ridiculous megapixel count for the front facing camera, they still produce mediocre performance, but the Note 10 Plus proves a very good quality over numbers with the best front-facing camera they have ever seen currently with just a single lens. So that's your answer, Azhar Local. Then as for the phone's video taking capabilities, the rear camera records up to UHD 4K 2160 up to 60 frames per second, which was nice and crisp. And with the added depth sensor lens at the back, there is the live video focus to give you a proper shallow depth of field for your videos. Then the Note 10 Plus also comes with a super steady mode, which you can toggle it within the app, where you can use it on a run and gun situation when taking videos, where there was a lot of difference between turning it off and on, as you guys can see. And like the S10 series, you can switch all the lenses even halfway through recording video, which was a cool feature. Then as for the front camera, it also records at 4K 2160 up to 30 frames per second with also a good image stabilization. And then there's also some cool filters added into the camera app software and record using the live focus video, which is also present within the front camera as well, where other than the blurred background, there's other filters such as big circle to really blur out your background, color point to separate you with a monochromatic background, and my personal favorite is the glitch effect, which I personally call it the Stranger Things effect, and shout out to Stranger Things fans out there. Now as for the phone's sound quality, like other Samsung flagships, it comes with two stereo speakers with the Dolby Atmos surround sound. And maybe because the device is large, but I did find that the speaker to be best again from any other smartphones that I've tested, hands down, as the stereo separation was so prominent where consuming movies and also listening to music was loud and clear. And here's a quick sound test.
Too many days in the darkness, without a glimpse of the light. Running tired and broken and scared, but I swear I'll never give up the fight.
And yes, I have to be honest to say that my heart was broken with the removal of the headphones jack. But with so many options of Bluetooth earbuds around, some cheap and some even decently priced, I guess we all have to learn to live with the fact that headphones jack will slowly disintegrate in our lives. And finally, as I mentioned in my first impressions video, I did manage to test out this zoom in to sounds feature, where if you are far away from a band or a singer that is performing, or even if a sound coming out from a speaker, the more you zoom in, the microphone's gain will increase. As you guys can see, there's a microphone logo which indicates that the gain is increasing to make sure that you capture more sound. And here's a quick sound test again.
Record button, and I go all the way closer. There's a microphone logo, as you guys can see, to indicate that it is getting louder by its zoom all the way to maximum, and I can go all the way back, and the microphone logo goes down in terms of the level to resume back to its regular microphone position. Pretty sweet.
So there's your zoom in to sound feature, Zawau Lamzul. Now in terms of software, it does ship with Android 9 Pie with the Samsung's best UI ever created, which is the One UI. And right now I don't really feel that I miss the stock Android experience, especially the more I use the One UI, with amazing features like swiping from the middle of the screen to go to the notifications, which makes navigating on this big screen phone possible with just one hand. Now other than the usual One UI, there's also additional features from the drop-down menu, like link to Windows, to link the phone to your Windows operating system through the USB-C port directly, and then there's also the added screen recorder and a turn off feature to turn off the phone. Alright, now let's talk about the S Pen. Now firstly, it comes with an improved battery, which to be honest, I never had any complaint since the S Pen charges as soon as you put it inside of the phone. Then you can now convert handwritings to text and send it as a Microsoft Word or even PDF documents within the Samsung Note app, which was also quite nice. Then other than using the S Pen button as the remote shutter like it was for the Note 9, there are brand new motion air gestures where you can perform any commands within the camera app, like switching modes by pressing and holding the S Pen button and moving either to the left or to the right. Then you can zoom in or zoom out by pressing and holding the S Pen and rotating your hand towards or backwards of the screen. And pressing and holding the button and moving your hands up or down switches from the rear and the front camera. Now while some may say that this is a gimmick, but I do not think so, because I do find myself taking pictures alone most of the time. And I did find it helpful to change tracks or even increase or decrease the volume when I'm working out using these air gesture movements. And now you can also use the S Pen to doodle or draw on your subject or even yourself in real time while or before taking a video, or even everywhere as well, which steps up your Instagram stories game. Now onto the phone's battery. The phone comes with a huge 4300 mAh of battery, and instead of downgrading the screen resolution to FHD+, I adjusted to its highest resolution at WQHD+, and used the phone with the automatic brightness turned on as well. And with me being outdoors for most of the time taking videos and photos, I am happy to say that this phone gave me a total of 10 hours and 57 minutes of total battery usage, with 4 hours and 2 minutes of screen on time when I was on 5% battery. So just imagine the amount of battery that you can save if you adjust the screen resolution to FHD+ with automatic brightness turned off. And what's great is that the Note 10 Plus comes compatible with a massive 45-watt supercharger, which you will need to purchase that adapter separately, which will be out really soon if you guys want to buy it. But I did find a 25-watt charger which comes inside of the box to be good enough. Now in terms of gaming, it is a flagship device, so it is built for serious gamers out there. While this is not a typical gaming phone, but it was great and super smooth with its 12 gigs of RAM when I played Asphalt 9 and PUBG at high settings with no heating issues, even hours of gameplay. Now in conclusion, the biggest question is, should you guys upgrade from the Note 9 to the Note 10 Plus? Now while I'm a believer that you must always skip at least one generation before buying a brand new phone, but with the newly added features, a brand new camera, an improved S Pen, a larger battery, and if you have just the right amount of money, just sell off your Note 9 or any current devices that you have and get the Note 10 Plus, as it is a device that you will get what you pay for. So there's your answer, Easy LFC. And as for your answer, Blondie V2, I would love to upgrade from the S10 Plus to the Note 10 Plus due to its larger screen, and I've always been a fan of the S Pen. Now as for the phone's price here in Malaysia, the Note 10 Plus is priced at 4,199 ringgit for the 12 gigs of RAM with 256 gigs of storage, and 4,799 ringgit for the same amount of RAM with a higher 512 gigs of storage. And I'll leave links down below for you guys to get one, as the pre-order on the Samsung site has officially been sold out. Alright guys, with this, do let me know what you guys think of the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus down at the comment section below. Would you guys get it? Aside from that, thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give this video a nice big thumbs up. Like, share and subscribe to Adam Lobo TV if you haven't done so. Don't forget to hit the bell icon just next to it to get notified for my future videos. Thank you so much for watching. This is Adam Lobo and I'll catch you guys in my next video.